Hello all, Dr.Fox back here with the weekend update. I think I got the microphone working better and hooked up and working. I hope I sound much better than that old defaulted echoey sound that had come out of the laptop for so long, or the laptop camera for so long. And I've been playing and tweaking with these for so long now, and they just don't make it as simple, or at least as user friendly in my opinion, on there. We've got a few more hotfix updates. How are you holding up on Zero Mortis? It's the way I pronounce it. Hang in there, let's get into this. Dr. Fox back here with you with the weekend update. I hope you're holding up okay as we kind of plug through March, or as some call it, March Madness, if you will. And I think for that we can kind of start off. How are you all doing? I'm excited. I just popped Renowned with the Enlightened, and now many of you, I'm sure, are starting to see on the auction house. We're seeing the contracts from the inscriptors. Trust me, I wish I had been able to grind out an inscriptor and get those contracts up there, because there's a little extra gold that you could be picking up there as well on that. I've been able to hit, I think I'm level 4 on my ciphers right now, 4 of 6. I'm trying to get them all the way to 6. When you get them there to level 6, it's 252, and you'll have some other goodies that will start dropping for you and things like that. I have got the last, I think it's a 2.5 day cipher slot just started, so it's going to be, or 3 days, 3.5 days. And then the other 1.5 day one on the last end of the cipher list. That ends, I think, at about just a few more minutes, actually, from when I'm recording this right now. And then after that, it's just 5-second ciphers after that. And we've been flying around doing our dailies. We've been flying around grabbing treasures where we can. Some of the Sandborn ones, even though we've been picking up tons of the keys, it just doesn't work. Or when I'm there, we can't find one. Or maybe we're just being unlucky at the time frame that we're in. But I am all excited. I finally did that. We have a guild member that was all excited for. We did a mini celebration on Discord with him. He finally got flying for Shadowlands. I'm so excited. I know one person had asked me, they said, Dr. Buck, what's your favorite Shadowlands zone now that all the zones have been released? Well, I know it can be a bit grindy, but at least it kind of feels like it preps you for the raid. And for me, it's just very beautiful. Now, I would kind of say Bastion because of the portals and other things like that, but I kind of like Zero Mortis because it's just so beautiful. And I just love that kind of very bright, because we've had so many expansions where it's all green and dark and like void energy and like all these things. It's very, I just like that. And speaking of, I'm sure many of you might be like, oh, look at that. This is the necklace you might remember from in Lord of the Rings that she gave. And I thought, you know what? I haven't worn that in so long. I thought I'd pull that out. I'd love to get a longer necklace just so it's a little bit longer than having it so tight. But I thought, it'll fit in my V today. And I thought I'd touch up and do what I could for that. So, any of you grinding those Sandborn relics, I know now that as the ciphers get higher, especially now, I was seeing 246 gear drop. And I think I'm at the 250, wait, not the 252, sorry if I'm at level 4 yet. But I have gotten a piece so far, and not that I'm out to do that because it's kind of frivolous after that, or some getting it through raids and PvP and whatnot for upgrades. But I still want to do it for the transmog. Those that might know about what I tend to farm for, it's the transmogs, the pets. I did get the little gyro character unlocked. We helped my hubby do that. We got the little Paco, I can never say his name. But we got the little pet of him unlocked. And then I've just been grinding away at ciphers to the best of my ability. And I'm on the final grind as I had hit Revered here. I think I'm about 19 more bars-ish to grind through to get to that last Exalt, and I can't wait to finish it. I got one of the mouths. I was all excited. That was showing that one off the other day. I was all ecstatic for that one. Let's see. They did some hotfixes as well for the Great Vault. About 6 tokens, giving you some different variations as well. The good news is for Castle Nathria now you don't have to look for a group and go in there. If you're looking for the character Randall, Randall's right here in Haven, or in the background you can see there. If you're looking for a specific item from Randall from Nathria, for when you get the options for that as well. As we mentioned, flying is out for Xeris Mortis. Have you been enjoying the flying? Are you excited? Have you not quite got there? Are you doing something else? Are you doing a whole different game? Just feel free to share that in the comments as well. And gosh, my goodness, what was the other little thing I wanted to mention as well? The oh yes, we haven't seen it since last July. The Brontosaur. If you're looking for it, make sure to get all that. Max out that gold. Look out. Supposedly it may be popping up in the black market as of late, so that's just something to think about as well. And we had gone to the Five Below the other day. I don't know if any of you had noticed something kind of sparkling here. I've been flickering on here. This is a fun little connector I got. It's a USB-C, and it's just a fun little bracelet. It kind of feels like I've got when I had my watch. I used to wear the Android watch or the Apple Watch. And I'm like, oh wait, what time is it? Because I keep thinking that it's my band. And I'm like, oh yeah. But it's great, it comes in handy. This is the USB-C, it's like $5. And this is literally a USB on one end. And then you got USB-C for the Androids and some of my other Android device tablets and whatnot. Not that I have a ton of tablets anymore. And then I thought I had the other one. There was a lightning cable one, I thought, and I like to wear both of those. And then I'm like, well, when we go on a trip, I'll just wear both of those, and we'll never have to worry about plug-in adapter or whatnot. And while we were there, we found some fun classic I'm not usually a huge candy person anymore. I usually just stick to my dark chocolates, and I forget that really long fancy name for them. But I was all excited. I found this cute little, and I know these are other places and whatnot, but I thought it was kind of fun. They were these little purple, they're almost like Smarties, I guess, that tasted kind of purplish flavor. I can't think of the flavor I want to say for that one, but it was a fun little Game Boy tin. So I thought that was kind of cute, and it's some of this is raised a little bit. So I thought that was kind of cute. I wanted to share that with you. My hubbies, one of their family members makes some amazing candy. I gotta show you some of this on camera. So there's like a toffee or taffy, and I know I'll probably say something wrong about it, but there was some other candies that they made, like some little chocolate bonbon. I think one of my favorites was the banana. Delish. There was like cookies and cream, peanut butter. Oops, it was really, really good. I just got a little excited. And I think today we're gonna shift gears for the Transformer reveal today. And one of the biggest Transformers, of course, that is really famous. Of course, we could talk about Optimus as well, but his nemesis, Megatron. You're like, wait, what? No, hang in there. I'm just showing you. These are the little stiff, like they have no movement. These were the little ones I got in the kisses for at Walmart. They had like 2 kisses in it and a little Transformer for like $2. And then if you go to the Dollar Tree, they actually had this neat little set of Transformer keychains. And we've got I was going to show this the other week when I was featuring Bumblebee on here, our Transformer reveal for Bumblebee. So they have a Bumblebee keychain. And I was going to save this for when I actually featured Prime, aka Peter Cullen. Miss you, Peter. And then this is the keychain for Prime. And then, of course, good old Frank does not... he did so many characters over the years, and it was always hilarious to kind of watch, like, Sue Blue to be making chuckles about how he would just kind of talk to his own characters on when they're recording their voiceovers, and I always thought that was so funny and so hilarious. Sending a shout out to you, Sue. Miss you. And this is the Soundwave Keychain. And then, of course, now we're back talking about Megatron. That would be a reference from Transformers, the animated film. Good old Orson Welles we lost, sadly. That was the last film he did, or at least he voiced before. Sadly, he passed away shortly after he did Unicron. So there's Megatron Keychain there. So there's a couple of Megatrons I have. I had a few other versions. There was some at like not the Dollar Tree, the Dollar General, and there was a version of Megatron that would transform into one of his little tank modes. We had that. There's a few other versions. I had the original G1 Megatron, but sadly, when my mom found out that I had a transformer that transformed into a gun, she did not approve. So it was quickly taken, and then I thought we had played with it one time up in the woods or something. We were building a little cabin up there, and I thought we brought it up one time, but I think she had confiscated it because somehow I think it had gotten to the edge of the wooded area, or because of that I think I went and hid it there, and then I came back and never found it, and then soon after I think a tractor came through and cleaned it, and we were afraid that maybe it had chunked Megatron into like tons of little pieces. And he may have been scooped up and taken into one of the hay barrels when that had come through. And if I was young, I would go back and put him elsewhere if that was the case. But the only part I ever got to hold on to was the actual cannon, like all of his extra accessories formed into this cannon. If some of you remember the G1 show, there used to be some of the, like, obviously it was a bit thicker and wider, but there was some cannons where like he put like the little gems in it, and it would power up, or then the front would just go. But I thought that was kind of neat, and it's kind of interesting to look at. And then I have the very large, and you'll have to excuse me, I have a very hard time transforming. I'm thinking I should, and I know that's why they never originally brought the MP Megatron over here, because they're like, it's going to be too complicated for some individuals to transform in. I have struggled, and trust me, I don't want it to sound like I'm like not intelligent enough to transform him. Oh, and then this was Megatron's other little zapper that went on his hand originally. And there was it came with a Krimzik. I don't know if I can show you there. This is the little yellow Krimzik. I should like keep him on like my microphone or something. But it came with that, and then he actually had his there was like, I don't know. Different people call it different things, but his fist would go in, and out would come like the laser morning star that he would spin when he had the one of the most famous fights with with Optimus, and Optimus had his like laser axe, and they had that little famous battle, and it came with that. And I'm sorry I didn't have that on camera. I was trying to dig around for it in the other room, and I'm a very organized chica. I couldn't find it. At the moment, I was hoping I'll have to show it another time, but that was that, and I just wanted to show you something varied from him, and please be kind. I haven't quite been able to get him fully transformed, but looking at the size of his blaster compared to the original G1 blaster, I mean what a can see quite the different size from that as well. And he's much more articulated and much more animated. It looks more closer to his animated counterpart as well. And I've had some troubles with him, and I know this visor is supposed to go up, and I can't get the head quite right, and I can't get his arms to pop in properly here for some wacky reason. And I've been able to transform the gun, no problem. But, and then some of it, see, that's what I was warning you about. I don't quite have him set in position well enough. And it was a Walter P-38 originally, that was what he transformed into. And so there's the original stack that goes up behind. We're not going to say what some designers used to say about that. There's no need to go to that direction of it. Can we keep this is a family channel, keep that clean, please? But they're like, Dr. Fox, you mentioned it. This is what people tend to go and do and say. But there's his blaster there. You can see quite the size of it. And I suppose if we use a reference size for Galvatron, this is the War of Cybertron re-release issue. And you can kind of see here, if I can get this in camera, like he's much larger than that version, if that kind of gives you a to scale option. And I've got to play around with him. He's having some struggles. He's been on my shelf for quite some time, and I haven't really tried to transform him much. I'm always terrified I'm gonna like break a joint or something, and I'm like, I just don't want to do that. So, and we'll get into him once we get into Gen 3 options as well, but I thought I'd use that as a size comparison for you as well. So I think with that we'll get into that. I love my calendar kitties, and I'm sure many of you can see boop boop with Miss Mora today. Remember that game? Where's Miss Mora? Mora the Explorer, the animated short. Get in here to the. So of course, Ungoro Madness, that's going on for those that want to do and wrap up that little micro holiday. And actually, did that just end today as I'm recording right now? Let me see when that ends. No, that is actually tonight, excuse me. It's Thursday through Saturday. You have an opportunity to go to Ugon Crater and Ongoro Crater. However, tomato, people pronounce it differently. This is what happens in this universe. We tend to have people that pronounce things a little different. And that's one of the places you can go to try to redo that original classic form where you would see the original. I forgot the name of that big Tyrannosaurus Rex. I used to remember its name. And you could go out there with like a whole raid party and kind of go out and kind of hit him. You get like a few little buffs or whatever, nothing too fancy. But I thought that would kind of share that with you. We've got Trial of Stoium happening. I've gotten my 3 transmogs out of the Trial of Stoium. That starts tomorrow, Sunday to Tuesday. That only comes up a couple times a year, so any of you still need your Trial of Stoium set, you can work on those starting tomorrow as well. And then, of course, at Tuesday, anytime we have resets that come back as well. Torghast Unbridled Darkness begins as well this Tuesday. We got PvP Brawl Packed House, that's beginning for you PvPers, excuse me. PvP Brawl Classic Ashran, that's ending this week. We've got the new next Time Walking variant beginning as well. Support to the first, but then we have that next section of that continuing. Pet Battle Bonus event, that's ending, so you want to get in all your Pet Battle bonuses, and then anything that you've been running this week for weekly ones have reset. Oh, and speaking of, I was so excited to run through Black Temple with my hubby, and and we've also been trying to do a few of the older guild ones, and we finally unlocked the Dark Phoenix pet, I think it was, when we finally got 55 reps, because I just hit 97 reps, and I finally, after this long grind and putting it off for years and years, I'm like, I don't want this grind, and I know if I had just stayed at it for like a good chunk of time. And then I think one of the weeks of Dark Moon Fair came up, I kept going back, getting the buff, flying straight out there, doing it, and then coming over to Zereth Mortis and doing a little bit of his daily there. And I finally hit Ugala. So you might notice here in the, I don't know if it'll show on camera, probably not, but her Ugala tabard, I think I've only got it to collect, I think I need 12 more tabards left to go. After I get to Exalted with Enlightened, I think I only have 11 after that. And the last few are pretty much PvP. There is a few more reps I gotta do in Classic. Old Classic / Vanilla, Old World reps that I have left. But I gotta be varying on those, because some will, if you make one go up, the other one gets hated. So I've got to find the few variations I got left. I've done all I could on that. We finished Black Temple. We got the, what was the name of that rep that I keep forgetting the name of in TBC? I'm trying to find it here real quick, if you don't mind. The Ash Tongue Deathspawn. Now is it with, oh, now I forget his name. It starts with an A. Akuma, or, I don't want to say Akuma Matata. No, but you run through and do that, and I had done all the quests leading up to that, and we ran that one more time, and I have gotten Illidan's legendary glaives there, the ones that war glaives that will drop. And I have those and a bunch of other legendaries. And we ran a couple of old dungeons. We did Stratholme once. We did a couple of the other TBCs. We're like, you know what? While we're out here, let's run a couple raids real quick and make a microscopic, tiny little mini chance that maybe, just maybe, something will drop. And sure enough, nothing did. But it was worth a shot anyway. So I think with that, we'll kind of leave that there. We're going to leave that for you to enjoy Miss Mora over here. Another week, we plugged through March. Oh, I'm excited. First day of spring. Solstice hits tomorrow. Technically, I always like to think of the 21st. Every 3 months is the variant. But we know that it kind of sometimes falls a day early or kind of on the day or the day after or things like that. So there's always this little variant in there. But just for giggles, I like to pretend it's the 21st every 3 months. So, and then you've got your 4 seasons. Traditionally, on the American classic calendar, if you will. I mean, there's other words for it, but anyway, just one of many. And I think with that, we're going to leave it there. Have a good week. Stay safe. Call me again next time I'm on. And once again, you know the drill. We will see you.